As cities expand and become more complex, so do some of the problems facing those who live and work in them. There are concerns about pollution and crime, even terrorism. Surveillance cameras gaze down on the streets, scanning, hunting for signs of anything unusual. There are other, less obvious threats: poisonous gases, radiation, and the fear of some unseen health hazard. Danger doesn't only lie in what you can see, so some are looking to technology for the answer. Demand is growing for sensors that don't just quietly observe, but that can actively monitor and detect in real time. In Korea, scientists are working on a device that will revolutionize our ability to track both merchandise and people. The radio frequency identification, or RFID, is a tag containing product data combined with a radio frequency device. In theory, it could be used by consumers. But in practice, it's more likely to become an electronic label tracking everything in a store. RFIDs are relatively easy and cheap to mass produce. Professor Gyu Jin Cho uses a special ink, which has some unusual properties. The ink is infused with carbon nanotubes, a material which you'll recall, in addition to being strong and durable, is also a semiconductor. This permits the duplication of all RFID tag components. Transistors and antennae don't have to be assembled in a production line. They're simply printed. The potential savings would allow for the cost to drop below 1 cent per sticker, a price that Professor Cho predicts will mean that RFIDs will be found on every product and will become as ubiquitous as the barcode. It's also no big jump in the imagination to suggest that when that happens, and it could be soon, theft and shoplifting rates will see a sudden and dramatic drop. The long arm of the law will also be enhanced by other sensor-driven technology that promises even more sophisticated surveillance systems. Dr. Genki Yoshikawa has developed a powerful sensor that can detect potentially dangerous substances by using a unique and down-to-earth inspiration. He wanted to make a sensor that was as sensitive as the nose of airport sniffer dogs. Every canine's nose has a mass of tiny nerve endings called receptors, each designed to bind with a specific chemical. The overall combination allows the dog to figure out the big picture and to distinguish between individual scents. Dr. Yoshikawa succeeded in recreating the mechanism artificially. He tested the sensor with meat, something the human nose has difficulty differentiating. But the sensor was able to pinpoint the subtle differences precisely. How does this perform in the nano world? The air is full of molecules that emit various odors. When the molecule touches a receptor, its surface bends. The shift in stress is only on a nano scale, but the combination of molecules allows the sensor to determine the smell. The research is still at an early stage, with only 8 sensors assembled. According to Dr. Yoshikawa, by building more sensors and pre-programming them with various molecular patterns, the system will be able to detect any dangerous substances, from drugs to dynamite.
Right now, if you wanted to check how polluted the air is, how polluted the river is, or how much pollutant is in the drinking water, we couldn't do it. I mean, it would be very difficult to do on an individual level. But if we can attach this sensor to our mobile phones or clothes, each person will have the freedom to check what is going on in the environment around him.
The artificial nose could soon become as widely used as the surveillance camera, a smaller hidden sentinel, an electronic guard dog.
Nanosensors can be distributed in a city, and they can monitor not only where there's a danger, but they can monitor how that danger is, for instance, moving or propagating through the system. And with that, then people can take action immediately.
A society where unseen multifunctional sensors monitor our every move may seem comforting to some, but others are not so sure. Does the constant intrusion in our lives outweigh the advantages? When does surveillance become snooping?
One is the ability to monitor people's behavior in a more and more obtrusive manner. So you can collect data about their genetics, you can observe them wherever they are with, nano RFID tags, and how that information will be used by corporations and governments or even, terrorist groups. That is a major concern of people.
Higher levels of surveillance, both unseen and interactive, could dramatically alter day-to-day life in our biggest cities. So what might life theoretically be like 30 years in the future?
The strangest thing happened to me this morning. I was walking home when I saw one of my neighbor's kids' toys out on the street. I picked it up and took it to their place. But as I did, I noticed the sensor must have been tracking me. But how? Sometimes all this sensory data can be a little unnerving. I mean, I enjoy the sheer convenience of it. I can work from home most of the time and shop. And lately, I can even get an instant medical checkup. It's all thanks to this new initiative from the National Health Directorate. We all have nano capsules embedded in our bodies. All you have to do is lie back, and the data is transmitted to the directorate. They'll analyze it, and if it's anything serious, they tell you what has to be done and when. Simple stuff like prescriptions is sent to you in seconds.
Please renew your social data card. You have 10 days to comply. This is a mandatory renewal to provide the latest technological benefits to each and every one of you. Thank you for your cooperation.
But then there's the social data card. It has all your personal data and is your official ID. You can't go anywhere without it. ID regulations just get tighter and tighter. At first, ID segregation was only for people with criminal records. But once the idea caught on, the urge to classify just went wild. It used to be a bit of a game, like getting into clubs. But these days, it's different.
You do not have an account with us. Please do not enter our building unless it is necessary.
Everything is codified. You're either in or you're out. It's okay, I guess, if you're one of the elite. But if not...
This restaurant is for members only. We do not have a table for you.
Sometimes I wonder whether I know enough. That they know something I don't. Particularly about those capsules and what they're really doing.
Your security clearance will be lowered. Be aware of the consequences.
You look fantastic in this. Violet Humphrey, did you enjoy your last purchase with us? Miss Humphrey, our fall-winter collections are 25% off. Especially for you, Miss Humphrey. Do not miss this great opportunity.
They say it's just health stuff, but my fear is there's something else going on. Someone out there wants to know everything about me. That's why this morning was so odd. I'd forgotten my ID card at home, but my neighbor's security system still knew who I was. Could it be that they know everything about me? What I like and what I think? What I feel? That they have an imprint of everything that's happened to me since the day I was born? And there's no escape?
Walk slower. Your heart rate is increasing. Walk slower. Your heart rate.